Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss the types of jaundice in adults. So first of all, which is the common symptom seen in the jaundice? So the very common symptom seen in the jaundice, it is the yellowish discoloration of the sclera, skin, nails with dark colored urine and light colored stool. The other symptoms basically over here includes itchiness, abdominal pain. The abdominal pain occurs specifically at the epigastrium and the right hypochondrium area. Weight loss, vomiting, fatigue, all these are the symptoms of the jaundice. Now, which pigment basically causes the yellowish discoloration of the body? So that is the bilirubin. Bilirubin causes the yellowish discoloration over here in the jaundice. Now, how this bilirubin is basically formed in the body? So this bilirubin is formed by the process hemolysis. The hemolysis process basically causes the formation of the bilirubin in the body. And this hemolysis process is basically done in mainly three areas, or we can say three organs in the body. That is liver, spleen and the bone marrow. At these three areas, that means liver, spleen and bone marrow, the hemolysis process basically occurs. Now we all know the lifespan of RBC is about 120 days, right? And after 120 days, the RBC break. And at that time, the RBCs basically enter inside the spleen. Okay, and at the spleen, the hemolysis process basically occurs. Okay, and by this hemolysis process, the hemoglobin present inside the RBC breaks into globin chain and heme. Okay, this globin chain basically further breaks down into amino acid, and this amino acid is then reused further. Okay, and this heme further breaks down into bilirubin and ferrous iron. Okay, this ferrous ion is further recycled, while this bilirubin is then excreted by going on to the various pathways in the body. Now, what are the pathways of this bilirubin? So over here, as you can see over here, this RBC broke down, okay, and this bilirubin is basically formed. Now, this bilirubin basically after forming enters inside the liver. And in the liver, this bilirubin is conjugated along with the UDP glucuronate with the help of the enzyme uridine glucuronide transferase. Now, after conjugation, this complex basically enters inside the gut into the small intestine and large intestine. Now, over here in the gut, this complex is oxidized into urobilinogen. Okay, now this urobilinogen basically enters inside the kidney. Okay, and the urobilinogen is further converted into stercobilinogen, and the stercobilinogen basically enters inside this large intestine and then into anus and gives the dark brown color to the stool, while the urobilinogen basically enters inside the kidney and gives yellow color to the, or pale yellow color to the urine. Okay, this was the normal cycle of bilirubin. Now let's come on to the main track of the jaundice. Now the jaundice basically occurs because of the defect at these three locations. Okay, over here what was happening? Hemolysis was occurring, right? And the bilirubin was actually forming over here in this process. Okay, but over hemolysis or excess of the hemolysis basically causes the prehepatic or the hemolytic jaundice. Means excess of the hemolysis basically causes excess of the bilirubin formation. Okay, and because of this, hemolytic or prehepatic jaundice occurs. Now next over here, hepatic jaundice, or we can say infective jaundice. Over here there is infection or problem occurring inside the hepatocytes, and this basically causes the hepatic or the infective jaundice. Then next over here, this is the pathway which was transferring the conjugated bilirubin from the liver into the gut. Okay, so over here there is obstruction because of some of the reason. Okay, and this is known as the obstructive jaundice or post-hepatic jaundice. So these are the three types of jaundice occurring in the adults: hemolytic, hepatic and the post-hepatic, or we can say the obstructive jaundice. Now first of all, prehepatic or the hemolytic jaundice. So hemolytic jaundice basically occurs because of the excess hemolysis process occurring in the body. Okay, excess breakdown of the RBCs basically causes this type of jaundice. Now over here what will happen, as more and more RBCs are breaking, so now excess amount of bilirubin is formed in the body by the hemolysis process, by the excess hemolytic process, and then this excess bilirubin will now circulate in the body. Okay, and by the normal circulatory pathway, this bilirubin will enter inside the liver. But the liver will take only normal amount of bilirubin as it takes normally. It will not take excess amount of bilirubin. So what about the rest of the bilirubin which is not taken by the liver? So this excess bilirubin, which is not taken up by the liver, will now remain inside the circulatory pathway, will remain in our normal circulatory pathway in the free form. The bilirubin will now circulate in the body in the free bilirubin form, okay, and will not get conjugated, okay, as it was conjugating in the liver. And then this free bilirubin will now enter directly inside the gut, okay, and by the gut it will be converted into, of course, urobilinogen, okay, and further it will enter inside the kidney. Now as over here a lot amount of bilirubin was formed in the body, so a lot amount of urobilinogen will be formed in the body. So excess amount of urobilinogen will be excreted by the way of kidney, and so you will see dark color urine, okay, in the jaundice patient, especially in the hemolytic jaundice patient. So now let's discuss that what kind of bilirubin will be seen in the body. Okay, so first try to answer this by yourself. The free bilirubin in the blood, okay, what will be the amount of this? So it would be, of course, increased. Why? Because the excess hemolytic process were occurring in the body. So that's why free bilirubin will be present in the blood, of course, okay, and liver won't be taking the excess amount of bilirubin. Now next, conjugated bilirubin in the blood would be normal, because the liver was taking only normal amount of bilirubin, right? Now what about the conjugated bilirubin in the urine? It is nil. Why? Because the liver was functioning normally, okay, and whatever amount of conjugated bilirubin was entering inside the gut was normally converting into urobilinogen, okay, and that's why the conjugated bilirubin is not seen in the urine. And what about the urobilinogen in the urine? So of course it would be increased, which is actually giving the dark yellowish color to the urine. Now next is about the hepatic jaundice, or we can say the infective jaundice. So over here there is some kind of problem with the liver. So over here the liver is actually infective, and the hepatocytes over here is not functioning well. So as over here the liver is infective, the liver won't be able to function well. The hepatocytes won't be able to function well over here. So whatever normal amount of bilirubin would be entering inside the liver won't be able to get conjugated. Okay, and so what will happen? Free bilirubin will actually enter inside the gut. Okay, and will actually also remain inside the circulatory system of our body. And cholestasis, or we can say obstruction, basically occurs in the infective or the hepatic jaundice also. And as because of this obstruction, whatever amount of bilirubin present inside the liver will be get conjugated. Okay, and as because of this, more and more amount of conjugated bilirubin is also seen in the hepatic jaundice. So remember, in the hepatic jaundice, both free bilirubin and the conjugated bilirubin is seen in the blood. Okay, so don't get confused over here. In the hepatic jaundice, both conjugated bilirubin and the free bilirubin are seen, because over here as a liver is not able to function well, so it won't be able to conjugate the bilirubin. Okay, so that's why free bilirubin in the blood. But because of the cholestasis or the obstruction occurring in the hepatic jaundice, whatever amount of bilirubin gets accumulated inside the liver will be get conjugated, and so more and more amount of accumulation of the conjugated bilirubin occur inside the blood. As the liver is infective over here, so the liver will send very few or very reduced amount of conjugated bilirubin to the gut. Okay, and as because over here very few amount of conjugated bilirubin is entered, very less amount of urobilinogen is formed, okay, and transferred to the kidney. Remember, in the hepatic jaundice, no bilinogen or no conjugated bilirubin is seen in the urine, okay, because the liver has sent very less amount of conjugated bilirubin inside the gut, okay, and so almost no or nil amount of bilinogen or conjugated bilirubin is seen in the urine. Okay, so now let's discuss about this. So first try to answer this by yourself. Now what will be the amount of free bilirubin inside the blood? So of course it will be increased, okay, because over here the liver was not able to function well, so it was not able to conjugate the bilirubin well, and so free bilirubin is found in excess amount in the blood, giving yellowish discoloration to the sclera and the skin and nails. Okay, now what about the conjugated bilirubin in the blood? So it will be of course increased. Why? Because I told you before also that over here in the hepatic jaundice or the infective jaundice, cholestasis or obstruction also occurs, and as because of this, because of the accumulation of the bilirubin in the liver conjugates the excess bilirubin and sends this conjugated bilirubin inside the blood. Okay, and as because of this conjugated bilirubin is high amount in the blood. And what about the conjugated bilirubin inside the urine? It will be of course nil. And what will be the amount of urobilinogen in the urine? It would be nil, because infected liver sent very few amount or very reduced amount of conjugated bilirubin to the gut, and as because of this these are nil inside the urine. Now next is about the post-hepatic or the obstructive jaundice. Now over here, as the name says obstructive, so there will be obstruction in the pathway. So over here what happens? There is normal hemolysis process occurring in the body and the liver is also healthy. But after the conjugation process occurring inside the liver, what will happen? There is obstruction occurring over here in the transportation of the conjugated bilirubin from the liver to the gut. Okay, normally everything happened till now. The hemolysis was normal, the liver was also healthy, and the liver also conjugated the bilirubin. Okay, but the conjugated bilirubin is now not able to enter inside the gut because of the obstruction occurring in the pathway. Now this obstruction can be caused due to many reasons. The reason may be gallstone, the reason may be cancer of the head of the pancreas, even there might be any kind of infection which is actually causing the obstruction in the pathway over here. So now as over here the conjugated bilirubin is not able to enter inside the gut, inside the small intestine, large intestine. So what will happen? The conjugated bilirubin will now directly enter inside the kidney. Okay, without be getting converted into the urobilinogen and the stercobilinogen. Okay, and so what will happen? Directly conjugated bilirubin will enter inside the kidney, and as because of this, in the urine, conjugated bilirubin would be seen. So that's why the amount of urobilinogen in the urine would be nil. Also the amount of stercobilinogen in the stool would be nil or no amount. Why? Because over here the conjugated bilirubin directly enter inside the kidney without entering inside the gut. Now over here try to answer the questions by yourself first. What will be the amount of free bilirubin in the blood? So it will be of course normal. There is no problem in the hemolysis or liver. Now what about the conjugated bilirubin inside the blood? So inside the blood the conjugated bilirubin would be increased. Why? Because over here, as we all know, in the obstructive jaundice, there is obstruction in the pathway between the liver and the small intestine and large intestine. Right, in the pathway between the liver and the gut. But over here, what the liver is doing? The liver is actually taking its another pathway and directly sending all the conjugated bilirubin towards the kidney. Okay, and so by this circulation, some amount of conjugated bilirubin will now enter inside the bloodstream as well. Okay, because the gut is not taking. So in the pathway between the liver and the kidney, few amount of conjugated bilirubin will now enter inside the bloodstream also. And so the amount of conjugated bilirubin inside the blood also increased. Now what about the conjugated bilirubin inside the urine? So it would be present. Urobilinogen in the urine, it would be absent or nil. And the very important reason for the obstructive jaundice, it is the gallstone or the cancer of the head of pancreas. These are the very two common reasons behind the obstructive jaundice. Other infection or other kind of reasons can be there, but these are the two main reasons. So if you feel any kind of symptoms like this, just refer to your doctor or can I have the prescription. And if you want to make your liver much healthier, just have green tea every day or any other detoxifying drinks, because these drinks basically helps to cleanse your liver. Okay, and the main function of the liver is detoxification. Even you can have lemons, because lemons basically detoxifies and removes all the impurities from your body. Raw garlic also cleanses your body. Even green and healthy veggies are beneficial for your body. And very importantly, exercise regularly, because exercising basically causes more and more amount of oxygen getting inside your body, cleanses your body, and also reduces the chances of fatty liver. So today up till here, I hope you understood it well. Thank you so much.